Welcome to part 1 of the documentary series I Love the 80s, a vivid journey through one of the most colorful, chaotic, and culture-defining decades of the 20th century. The 1980s were more than leg warmers and big hair. They were a time of transformation. A decade where technology, entertainment, fashion, and politics collided to reshape the modern world. From the rise of MTV and the birth of the blockbuster to the fall of the Berlin Wall and the dawn of the digital age, every moment left a mark. In this first chapter, we'll explore the early pulse of the decade. The music, the malls, the movements, and the moments that set the tone for 10 unforgettable years. This is the story of the 80s, told through the eyes of those who lived it, loved it, and helped shape it. Welcome to I Love the 80s. The 1980s weren't just about sports, they were about style, swagger, and signature shoes. This was the decade when athletes became superstars and their sneakers? Instant streetwear gold. From blacktops to playgrounds, sneaker culture exploded, driven by bold designs, TV ads, and unforgettable endorsements that blurred the line between sport and fashion. In the 1980s, Michael Jordan became a superstar through a combination of extraordinary talent, competitive drive, and cultural impact. 1988. He won his first NBA MVP and Defensive Player of the Year, proving he was more than just a scorer. By the end of the 1980s, Michael Jordan was not just an elite athlete. He was becoming the face of the NBA, and a symbol of excellence, ambition, and marketability. Before he became the GOAT, Michael Jordan was just a rookie with a killer jump shot, a million-watt smile, and a sneaker that would change the world. Bo Knows Everything Bo Jackson, the rare dual-sport athlete, was the face of Nike's Bo Knows campaign in the late 80s. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, the rivalry that saved basketball. It all started in 1979. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird met in the NCAA championship game, a clash between Michigan State and Indiana State. Magic's charisma and speed won the night, but Bird's quiet determination had already ignited a fire. That final would go on to become the most watched college basketball game in history, and it set the stage for a rivalry that would define a decade. Joe Montana, drafted in 1979 by the San Francisco 49ers. Joe Montana entered the NFL without fanfare, but by the early 1980s, he had become the architect of a dynasty. Nicknamed Joe Cool for his calm demeanor under pressure, Montana led the 49ers to 4 Super Bowl titles, 16, 4, and was named Super Bowl MVP 3 times. Lawrence Taylor, the linebacker who changed the game. Taylor's arrival in the NFL in 1981 as the second overall draft pick by the New York Giants marked a turning point in defensive play. His combination of speed, strength, and aggression forced offenses to adapt, leading to innovations such as the 2 tight end formation and the increased importance of the left tackle position to protect the quarterback's blind side. Throughout his career, Taylor amassed 132.5 official sacks, 1,089 tackles, and 56 forced fumbles. He was a 10-time Pro Bowl selection, 3-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year, and the 1986 NFL Most Valuable Player. A rare feat for a defensive player, Cal Ripken Jr. Debuting with the Baltimore Orioles in 1981, Cal Ripken Jr. came from baseball blood. His father, Cal Sr., was a respected Orioles coach and manager, but it didn't take long for Jr. to step out of his father's shadow and become a household name in his own right. By 1983, Ripken had already. He wasn't flashy, he wasn't loud, he was simply reliable, powerful, and precise. A blue-collar superstar for a blue-collar sport. Darryl Strawberry and Dwight Gooden. Darryl Strawberry and Dwight Gooden, New York Mets drafted #1 overall in 1980. Darryl Strawberry burst onto the scene in 1983 with towering home runs and a long, graceful swing that drew comparisons to Ted Williams. The 1983 NL Rookie of the Year, Strawberry became a 1980s icon, tall, charismatic, and built for highlight reels. He made 8 All-Star teams, hit 39 home runs in 1987, and was the Mets' most feared slugger throughout the decade. Arriving in 1984 at just 19 years old, Dwight Gooden became Dr. K, the strikeout king with a 98 miles-per-hour fastball and a knee-buckling curve. In 1984, he struck out 276 batters, won NL Rookie of the Year, and introduced fans to the K Corner at Shea Stadium. In 1985, he had one of the greatest seasons in MLB history. John McEnroe and Bjorn Borg. The rivalry, McEnroe versus Borg, their legendary Wimbledon 1980 final became one of the greatest matches in history. Their rivalry was short-lived, but its impact was massive. It represented their legendary Wimbledon 1980 final became one of the greatest matches in history. Their rivalry was short-lived, but its impact was massive. It represented Mike Tyson undisputed and unmatched. By 1987-1988, Tyson had unified the WBA, WBC, and IBF titles, becoming the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Golf Jack Nicklaus. Jack Nicklaus, affectionately known as the Golden Bear, is widely regarded as one of the greatest golfers in history. Born on January 21, 1940 in Columbus, Ohio, Nicklaus's illustrious career is marked by unparalleled achievements and a lasting impact on the sport. Major milestones in the 1980s, Dale Earnhardt Sr., affectionately known as the Intimidator, was a legendary figure in NASCAR, renowned for his aggressive driving style and profound impact on the sport. The athletes of the 80s weren't just champions, they were trailblazers. They became cultural icons, role models, rebels, and heroes. They inspired posters on bedroom walls, action figures on toy shelves, and dreams in every backyard across America. The fragrance of the 1980s was bold, loud, and unapologetically extra. Scents weren't subtle. They announced your presence before you entered the room and lingered after you left. The 80s were all about power perfumes and statement colognes, much like the fashion of the era. Think shoulder pads, sequins, and sky-high hair. Picture this: bell-bottoms, platform shoes, and afros were cool. Brut cologne was the scent of the streets. Every dude wanted to smell like a champion. Brut wasn't just cologne, though. It was a statement. It meant you were cool, confident, and maybe even a little bit dangerous. Think Joe Namath, the quarterback for the New York Jets. He was the epitome of the brute man, athletic, handsome, and rebellious. The Midwest had its own share of brute men. Basketball courts, football fields, and street corners were filled with guys rocking that distinctive green bottle. It was a sign of masculinity, a way to stand out from the crowd. But brute was more than just a fragrance. It represented a time of change. Giorgio Beverly Hills, 1981. White Diamonds by Elizabeth Taylor, 1989. Drakkar Noir by Guy Laroche, 1982, Obsession for Men, 1986, Polo by Ralph Lauren, 1978 but peak in the 80s. Cool Water by Davidoff, launched in 1988, is one of the most iconic men's colognes of all time, especially tied to late 80s and 90s culture. It revolutionized men's fragrance by introducing a fresh, aquatic scent at a time when the market was dominated by spicy, musky power colognes. The civil rights movement had opened doors, and young Black and Latino men were coming of age with a new sense of self-awareness and style. Now let's talk about Jordache jeans. These weren't your mama's Wranglers. These were designer jeans, man. They were tight, they were stylish, and they had that little horse logo on the back pocket that let everyone know you were rocking the good stuff. Jordache hit the scene in 1978 and took the world by storm. Suddenly, everyone from hip-hop heads in New York to breakdancers in Chicago wanted a pair. They were a status symbol, a way to show that you had arrived. But Jordache was more than just a brand, it was a cultural phenomenon. It was about aspiration, about wanting something better, about showing the world that you were somebody. In the Midwest, Jordache jeans were a symbol of urban cool. They were a way for young Black and Latino kids to express themselves, to connect with each other, and to challenge the status quo. By the early 80s, designer jeans were everywhere. Guess, used jeans, major damage jeans, cross colors, you name it, it was on somebody's backside. And the styles were getting crazier too. Acid wash, ripped knees, even jeans with zippers on the ankles. These weren't just pants, they were a statement. They were a way to show your individuality, your sense of style, and maybe even your social status. And they weren't just for the fellas either. Women were rocking designer jeans just as hard as the guys. This was the era of streetwear becoming mainstream. What started on the streets of New York and LA was quickly spreading to cities like Chicago, Detroit, and St. Louis. Fashion became a way for young people to connect with each other, to express their creativity, and to rebel against the norm. And let's not forget about the music. Hip-hop was blowing up, and artists like Run DMC and Salt and Peppa were making designer jeans an integral part of their look. Major damage jeans were a standout piece of edgy streetwear in the early to mid-1990s, mixing hip-hop style with punk grunge attitude, a symbol of youthful rebellion and raw, distressed cool. Brand, Major Damage, founded in the late 1980s. Era of popularity, early to mid-1990s. Style, known for heavy distressing, patchwork, zippers, faded denim, and often baggy or oversized fits. Some versions even had military or industrial vibes, including cargo pockets, rivet details, and contrasting fabrics. Think of them as the denim version of a rock concert, chaotic, bold, and unforgettable. Worn by kids and teens in urban neighborhoods, suburbs, and anywhere that embraced hip-hop, grunge, or skater style. A fashion cousin to brands like Cross Colors, Karl Kani, Janko, and Fubu. Major Damage jeans were often paired with oversized flannels, bubble jackets, graphic tees, and Timbs or combat boots. Used Jeans was a bold, edgy denim brand that gained a cult following in the late 1980s and early 1990s, especially among teens and young adults who were into streetwear, punk, and rebellious mall fashion. Used jeans rode the wave of, they were sold in mall stores like Merry-Go-Round, Oak Tree, Chess King, and boutiques that catered to teens. If you wore used jeans, you were likely pairing them with Cross Colors. Now, let's talk about sneakers. Michael Jordan and the Air Jordan Revolution, the rise of a legend, 1984. In 1984, a 21-year-old out of North Carolina entered the NBA draft. Picked third by the Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan was explosive, charismatic, and confident. He didn't just play basketball, he soared. But what happened off the court would be just as revolutionary. The birth of Air Jordan, 1985. Nike wasn't the cool brand in 1984. Converse and Adidas ruled the NBA, but Nike saw potential in Jordan and took a bold risk. Nike paid the $5,000 per game fine and turned rebellion into marketing gold. The band commercial made the shoes legendary before they even hit stores. Lotto, European flavor with retro flair. While not as dominant in US basketball or hip-hop culture, Lotto held weight internationally, particularly in soccer and tennis. It was a New York streetwear staple, especially in basketball culture and hip-hop circles. The shoes weren't just for fans, they represented independence and authenticity in a market dominated by major corporations. Rockport, where comfort met cool in the corporate casual 80s. In a decade dominated by neon sneakers and athletic endorsements, Rockport carved out its own lane. A lane of comfort, class, and quiet confidence. Founded in 1971, Rockport hit its stride in the 1980s, becoming a go-to brand for professionals, suburban dads, and anyone who wanted to look sharp without giving up comfort. The 90s fashion scene was a fever dream. Cross-colors jumpsuits and light-up shoes made the 90s such a vibrant and colorful era. We witnessed the meteoric rise of LA Gear, a brand that became synonymous with the era's dynamic interplay of color and illumination. British Knights is an American brand founded in 1983 by Jack Schwartz Shoes Inc., based in New York City. British Knights attracted a star following after its business grew in the late 80s. The brand's first celebrity ambassadors in the 90s included LL Cool J and MC Hammer, according to its website. Meanwhile, it was popular among hip-hop artists in the US, solidifying its streetwear status. However, after riding the wave of multiple successes throughout the 80s and early 90s, Alessi was surpassed by super brands like Nike and Adidas. In 1989, Patrick began his own shoe company, Ewing Athletics. The first model he wore briefly for the 1989 season was the Rebound. The brand soon expanded from just basketball shoes into apparel and full family kid sizes, as well as revenue hit $40 million per year in the early to mid-1990s. I'm not talking about your dad's old Chuck Taylors either, I'm talking about fresh kicks, the kind that could make or break your whole outfit. Nike, Adidas, Converse. These brands were battling it out for supremacy on the streets. Everyone had their favorite. Shell-toe Adidas superstars, Nike Air Force Ones, Converse Chuck Taylors. These were more than just shoes, they were status symbols. Sneaker culture was born on the basketball courts and in the hip-hop scene. Guys like Michael Jordan and Run DMC weren't just athletes and musicians, they were style icons. They had the freshest kicks, and everyone wanted to emulate their look. The Midwest was no exception to the sneaker craze. From Chicago to Cleveland, kids were lining up for the latest releases, trading shoes like comic books, and customizing their kicks to make them one of a kind. The 90s mall culture was a defining era of teenage socialization, shopping, and fashion. Malls were not just places to shop, they were social hubs where teenagers met friends, scoped out crushes, and participated in various activities like watching movies or hanging out at the food court. The mall experience was loud, chaotic, and uniquely ours, with a distinct energy that characterized the 90s. The golden age, 1980s. Vibe, bright neon signs, big hair, pop music echoing through the food court, and groups of teens roaming in Levi's and leg warmers. Architectural design, skylights, indoor fountains, faux plants, massive anchor stores, Sears, JCPenney, Macy's. Stores galore. The Limited, Sam Goody, Chess King, Gadzooks, Walden Books, B. Dalton, Radio Shack, KB Toys. Food court, Orange Julius, Sparrow, Hot Dog on a Stick, Cinnabon. Fashion, acid wash jeans, members-only jackets, Reebok pumps, jelly shoes. Teen culture. Malls were the place to be, for first dates, meeting friends, or just wandering. It was common to spend hours without buying anything. Music and media influence, mall tours by pop stars, Tiffany famously performed in malls, MTV played on loop in some stores. Kmart, the blue light beacon of American shopping, the rise of a retail giant. Founded in 1962, Kmart exploded in popularity by the 1970s and 1980s, becoming a symbol of affordable middle-class shopping across suburban America. The iconic blue light special was Kmart's signature marketing gimmick. It wasn't just a sale, it was a spectacle, a shopping event. Kmart wasn't just a store, it was a Saturday ritual, a back-to-school tradition, and a slice of Americana. Long before two-day shipping, Kmart was where value met adventure, under the watchful flash of a blue light. Mervyn's, where California got dressed, before Target ruled the suburbs and Amazon took over online, there was Mervyn's, a department store chain that defined everyday shopping for millions of families. Founded in 1949 in San Lorenzo, California by Mervyn Morris, Mervyn's grew into one of the most trusted mid-range department stores across the West and Midwest. It was the go-to spot for affordable clothing, home goods, and back-to-school essentials. Humble beginnings, major growth. By the peak of its popularity, refinement and cool, 1990s. Vibe, grunge meets glam, flannel shirts, boy bands in the speakers, and a growing sense of teenage independence. Popular stores, Claire's, Hot Topic, Spencer's, Aeropostale, Abercrombie and Fitch, Sam Goody, Tower Records, mall rats, teens hung out in groups. It was a badge of independence. Parents dropped them off after school or on weekends. Movies and pop culture, films like Mallrats, 1995, Clueless, Encino Man, and TV shows like Saved by the Bell in Beverly Hills, 90210 glorified mall life. Events, fashion shows, Santa visits, mall carnivals, and meet and greets with TV actors.
There are many other toys from the decade that are also worth
1980s toy culture, the birth of the toy boom vibe. Bright plastic, synth music, aggressive toy commercials, and entire cartoons built to market action figures. Invented in 1969, the Big Wheel was manufactured by Marx Toy Corp. Until 1985, when the rights to it were sold to Empire of Carolina, now Empire Industries. Jay Horowitz, president of Marx Toys, says the Big Wheel enjoyed its golden age in the early 1970s before other companies duplicated the idea. The Mr. T Big Wheel was a themed version of the classic Big Wheel tricycle, a low-sitting plastic ride-on toy with a large front wheel, but branded with Mr. T's iconic style, attitude, and image. Iconic 80s toy lines. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. By the power of Grayskull. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe became one of the biggest toy and cartoon phenomena of the 1980s. Launched by Mattel in 1982, the Masters of the Universe toy line introduced kids to He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe, locked in battle with Skeletor, the evil Lord of Destruction. The first series of Thundercats toys were released in 1985. The release consisted of 8 figures, 1 creature, and 3 vehicles. Because the backs of the figures' packaging cards featured the 8 figures, they are often referred to as 8-backs by collectors to differentiate them from the other series. The Silverhawks toy line, produced by Kenner in 1987, was a short-lived but significant entry in 80s toy history. Based on the popular Rankin Bass animated series, the toy line featured action figures, vehicles, and beasts, all inspired by the Superpowers collection. GoBots were a line of transforming robot toys produced by Tonka from 1983 to 1987, initially a competitor to Hasbro's Transformers. Rainbow Brite. Launched in 1984 by Hallmark and Mattel, the Rainbow Brite toy line captured hearts with its vibrant characters, whimsical designs, and collectible dolls. Strawberry Shortcake, the popular 80s toy and TV character, originated as a greeting card character in the late 1970s by Barbie Sargent for American Greetings. The character was later developed into a toy franchise in 1979 by Kenner, a division of American Greetings. Cabbage Patch Kids. In the 1980s, one toy craze stood above the rest: Cabbage Patch Kids. With their pudgy faces, yarn hair, and unique personalities, they weren't just dolls. They were adopted into families. 1990s, toy culture, tech, TV tie-ins, and total mania vibe. Extreme marketing, neon grunge, handheld gadgets, rising anime influence, and chaotic Christmas toy hunts. Iconic 90s. Toys. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. In the late 1980s, 4 heroes in a half-shell stormed toy aisles everywhere: the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Launched in 1988 by Playmates Toys, the TMNT line was based on the hit cartoon series. The very first wave included Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo, Raphael, Splinter, Shredder, April O'Neil, and the Foot Soldiers. Game Boy. In 1989, Nintendo changed the way the world played games, forever. The Game Boy wasn't just a handheld system, it was a revolution in your pocket. Designed by Gunpei Yokoi and Nintendo's R&D1 team, the Game Boy launched with a monochrome screen, a simple D-pad, and just 4 buttons. But what it lacked in power, it made up for in portability, fun, and an unbeatable library. The Nintendo Entertainment System was released in the mid-1980s and became the best-selling gaming console of its time. The Nintendo 64, 1996, PlayStation 1, 1994, Sega Saturn, 1994, and Atari Jaguar, 1993, are considered to be the big 4 gaming systems of the 1990s Toy Box royalty glowworm. First introduced in 1982 by Hasbro, this cuddly nighttime buddy glowed softly when hugged, becoming a comforting friend for millions of bedtime routines. Care Bears colorful, kind-hearted, and full of personality, these plush bears taught love and sharing from TV screens to toy shelves. Each bear had a special belly badge that made them instantly recognizable. Polly Pocket. Launched in the late 80s, Polly Pocket was a revolution in miniaturized play. Tiny dolls and whole playsets that fit in your pocket made for portable adventures. Power Rangers. While they reached peak popularity in the 90s, the early Power Rangers figures were must-haves, combining martial arts, color-coded heroes, and transforming Zords, street sharks. These half-man, half-shark action figures were pure 90s attitude, muscles, shades, and jaws that chomped down on evil. Happy Meal toys. No trip to McDonald's was complete without the surprise in the Happy Meal, transforming McNuggets, mini Furbies, or tie-ins to blockbusters and cartoons. These became collectibles, playground currency, and instant nostalgia. Games that glued us to the table Monopoly. Still going strong from decades earlier, the 80s brought themed versions and new house rules. Endless afternoons of railroads, hotels, and arguments over who really won. Operation Steady Hands were tested in this game of comical surgeries. Buzzing when you failed, Operation was a rite of passage for every kid with dreams of being a doctor or a prankster. Mousetrap part board game, part Rube Goldberg machine, this one was just as fun to build as it was to play. If you ever made it to the trap without losing a piece. Guess who? With its iconic flip-up faces, this deduction game of does your person wear glasses became a fast-paced favorite. Hungry Hungry Hippos. Fast, loud, and frenzied. 4 hippos gobbling marbles as fast as you could slap the lever, a party favorite with pure chaos energy. Mr. Bucket, he'll pop out balls and you'll chase them all! This motorized game involved chasing colorful balls ejected from Mr. Bucket's mouth. It was silly, messy, and completely unforgettable. Creativity and skill builders etch a sketch. The original screen time, knobs, not touchscreens. A drawing toy that doubled as a test of patience and skill. If you made a curve, you were basically a wizard. Play-Doh sculpting, squishing, and shaping. Play-Doh unlocked creativity in bold colors and that signature smell every kid remembers. K'NEX and Lego build it your way. Whether you were making roller coasters with K'NEX or castles with Lego, these engineering kits sparked STEM curiosity before it was a buzzword. Puzzle books, magic kits, marbles, playing cards. Old school fun never went out of style. From sleight-of-hand tricks to late-night solitaire, these simple tools fueled imagination and quiet playtime. Toys with a kick-rock'em sock'em robots, the red one and the blue one. One goal, knock the other's block off. This boxing robot battle was a playground legend. Roller skates. Whether cruising through the neighborhood or heading to the rink, nothing beat the thrill of 4 wheels, music, and a little bit of neon. Comic book culture and trading cards, heroes, holograms, and packs of power. The 1980s were a transformational era for comic books. moving from simple hero tales to deeper, more mature storytelling. Comic book stores equal-sign community trading cards from bubblegum to collectible gold. Whether it was sports, cartoons, or superheroes, trading cards were the currency of childhood. Non-sports cards. In the mid-1980s, trading cards weren't just about baseball, they got gross, funny, and weird, thanks to Garbage Pail Kids. Created by Topps in 1985, Garbage Pail Kids were parody trading cards that spoofed the sweet and innocent Cabbage Patch Kids craze. But instead of cute dolls, you got wild, disgusting, and hilarious characters like Atom Bomb, Leaky Lindsay, and Nasty Nick. Toys and games from the 1980s were hands-on, imaginative, and social. Whether it was building, battling, drawing, or dreaming, every toy brought friends and families together. In an era before digital distractions, these classics gave kids something special, the power to create their own worlds. Emphasis on family affordability, birthday parties, and community fun nights, often attached to or near strip malls, or skating rinks. Some had Christian family-friendly branding in certain areas. Many became local legends after shutting down, still talked about in nostalgia forums. Before the days of high-tech gaming lounges and indoor trampoline parks, there was one place that felt like pure magic to 1980s kids. Showbiz Pizza Place. Born from the booming arcade and family entertainment craze, Showbiz was more than a restaurant. It was an experience, a wild blend of pizza, video games, animatronic shows, and birthday party dreams. Major Magics was a local family entertainment venue, particularly popular in the Metro Detroit area and other locations like Ohio, New York, and Pennsylvania. It operated for about 3 decades, combining a pizzeria, arcade, and concert venue, with a focus on animatronic characters and family-friendly entertainment. Discovery Zone, DZ. Fun fact, Michael Jackson once invested in it. Trick-or-treat time travel, Halloween costumes of the 1980s. In the 1980s, Halloween was a magic mix of plastic masks, polyester jumpsuits, and pure pop culture overload. Costumes weren't hyper-realistic or CGI enhanced. They were boxed, scratchy, and absolutely unforgettable. Costume icons of the 80s. The decade was defined by TV, movie, and Saturday morning cartoons, and Halloween was the perfect excuse to become your favorite character, DIY spirit, and homemade hits. Not every kid had a store-bought costume. Many wore glow sticks and candy buckets, neighborhood nostalgia, the costumes, plastic, and pop culture. Popular costume choices included TV specials and VHS. Horror. Halloween in the 1980s wasn't about perfection, it was about imagination. It was a little cheesy, a little spooky, and a whole lot of fun. And even today, just the smell of a vinyl mask or a bite of candy corn can take us right back to that October night under the streetlights. Welcome to a time when breakfast wasn't just a meal. It was a Saturday morning ritual. In the 1980s, cereal wasn't just about nutrition. It was about cartoons, color, and characters. From the royal crunch of King Vitamin, to the bold, no-nonsense bite of Mr. T cereal, and the sugary blue charm of Smurf cereal, these boxes were more than food. They were a gateway to a magical, plastic toy-filled universe. With mascots as memorable as the shows they advertised between, and prizes buried deep inside every box, the cereal aisle became a battleground of marketing, imagination, and pure kid joy. In this episode, we'll revisit the golden age of breakfast branding, a world of crunchy, sugary, character-driven chaos. In the 80s, King Vitamin ruled the cereal aisle with his crunchy, vitamin-packed corn crowns and goofy, low-budget medieval commercials. Less sugary but packed with personality, this cereal turned breakfast into a royal adventure, complete with knights, castles, and plenty of laughs. Not your typical sugary treat, King Vitamin was the wholesome, quirky king every kid secretly loved. Launched, 1984 by General Mills, inspired by the popular TV show, The A-Team, and the larger-than-life personality of Mr. T himself, the tough but lovable actor known for his mohawk, gold chains, and catchphrase, "I pity the fool," flavor and style. A sweet, crunchy oat-based cereal with marshmallows shaped like Mr. T's signature jewelry, chains and medallions. Marketing. The cereal featured Mr. T prominently on the box and in commercials, often promoting toughness and fun, appealing especially to kids who admired his heroic persona. Commercial. Energetic and colorful, with Mr. T himself encouraging kids to eat his vitamins and be strong like him. In the 1980s, breakfast was more than just the most important meal. It was a front row seat to a world of adventure, fantasy, fantasy and pop culture magic. From the mischievous blue villagers of Smurf cereal, to the heroic teamwork of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and the spooky fun of Boo Berry and Gremlins, every box was a ticket to a cartoon universe. Cereals like Ghostbusters and Ninja Turtles combined sugary, colorful bites with playful marshmallows shaped like your favorite characters, turning the cereal aisle into a vibrant playground. These cereals didn't just fill bowls, they fueled imagination, fueled friendship, and made Saturday mornings unforgettable. More than just food, these cereals were cultural icons, a delicious bridge between kids, cartoons, and the booming pop culture of the 80s. The boom years, 1980s. The 1980s brought a golden age, fueled by deregulation that allowed shows to be essentially long-form commercials for toys. This era gave us iconic lineups including Thundercats, DuckTales, Inspector Gadget, and more networks like ABC, CBS, NBC, or later Fox created entire Saturday blocks filled with these shows, making Saturday mornings a non-negotiable part of childhood. Cartoon Express, the cable block that brought cartoons to a new generation. Launched in 1982 on the USA Network, Cartoon Express was one of the first cable programming blocks dedicated entirely to animated shows, arriving just as cable TV was beginning to revolutionize how kids watched cartoons. Saturday morning cartoons were more than just entertainment. They shaped generations, inspired creativity, and created a shared cultural experience. For many, those crisp mornings with a bowl of cereal and a favorite cartoon remain some of the most cherished childhood memories. The 1980s TV and movie lineup, primetime, popcorn, and pure magic. The 1980s was a defining decade for entertainment, a bold mix of big hair, bigger ideas, and unforgettable screen moments. Television and movies didn't just entertain, they helped shape the identity of a generation. The 80s brought with it an explosion of creativity on the small screen. Family sitcoms, action-packed dramas, and laugh-track comedies became daily rituals. Audiences tuned in religiously to see familiar faces and weekly adventures that offered both comfort and escapism. Iconic TV staples included, the 80s movie scene was equally legendary, launching franchises that still dominate today. It was the birth of the modern blockbuster, big effects, iconic soundtracks, and even bigger box office returns. Cinematic landmarks included, it was also the age of the VHS boom, which brought movie magic into the living room and gave rise to the neighborhood video store. Whether it was watching TV with the family on a Thursday night or lining up to see the latest summer blockbuster, the 1980s created a communal entertainment experience, one that blended optimism, imagination, and just the right amount of neon. The TV shows and films of the 80s weren't just programming, they were pop culture milestones. And for many, they remain the heart of what it meant to grow up in the most unforgettable decade of all. The 1980s were a transformative time for television. With only a few major networks, ABC, NBC, CBS, competition was fierce, and it pushed creators to innovate. It was the golden age of the family sitcom, the rise of the primetime drama, and the birth of the action-adventure series. 1. Family Ties blended 60s liberal parents with a Reagan-era conservative teen, Alex P. Keaton. Growing Pains, Who's the Boss, and Full House followed suit with heart and humor. MacGyver, problem-solving with science, duct tape, and ingenuity. Miami Vice, a stylish crime drama with pastel suits and a groundbreaking soundtrack. The Golden Girls seniors as sitcom stars, blending sass with serious topics. The 80s solidified the blockbuster formula. Big budgets, high-concept ideas, merchandisable heroes, and memorable soundtracks. Studios began targeting the teen and young adult demographic with relentless creativity. The Terminator, 1984, gritty, low-budget sci-fi that birthed a franchise. Fast Times at Ridgemont High brought raunchy realism to high school life. Indiana Jones series mixed pulp adventure with archaeology and charm. Coming to America, Trading Places and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles showcased Eddie Murphy, John Candy, and others at their peak. Poltergeist, The Shining, and The Thing brought psychological terror and visual innovation. The 1980s laid the foundation for modern entertainment. TV shows taught values, sparked conversations, and entertained millions. Movies set new standards in storytelling, technology, and marketing, and decades later, their influence is still felt in reboots, references, and reverence. The 1980s were a vibrant era of bold flavors, convenience foods, sugary treats, and marketing magic. It was a time when Saturday mornings were powered by cereal, lunchboxes were stuffed with processed fun, and dinner often came from a box, or a drive-thru. Breakfast of champions and cartoons. The 80s were the golden age of sugar-packed cereals, each one more colorful, crunchier, and cartoonier than the last. TV commercials turned breakfast into an adventure. King Vitamin, a holdover from earlier decades, this knighted cereal ruled with a sugary sword. Lunchbox legends. Packed with personality and preservatives, lunchtime was ruled by portable snacks and bright branding. High-C Ecto Cooler, bright green juice made famous by the Ghostbusters. Fast food fever. The drive-thru became the new diner. Fast food giants exploded with themed promotions, playgrounds, and character mascots. After-school sugar rush. After school meant snacks, and the 80s brought the goods in shiny wrappers and unforgettable ads. Dinner time, 1980s style pop rocks. The crackling candy with urban legends that added to the thrill. Convenience was king. Microwaves were new household heroes and boxed dinners ruled. SpaghettiOs, Chef Boyardee, kid cuisine warm, salty, and easy to nuke. Dessert delights. No meal was complete without a sugar bomb at the end. Food as pop culture food in the 1980s wasn't just nourishment, it was entertainment, marketing genius, and a cultural time capsule. From character cereals to collector cups, from fast food playgrounds to neon-colored snacks, everything was big, bold, and brand-driven. Eating was fun, packaging was loud, and flavors were unapologetically artificial. And that's exactly why we loved it. Cold Gold, the sweet nostalgia of 1980s ice cream. Before oat milk lattes and gourmet gelato, there was the magic of freezers full of dreams. And in the 1980s, ice cream was more than dessert. It was a pop culture icon. From push-up pops to ice cream trucks rolling down suburban streets, the 80s gave us colors, characters, and flavors that defined summer, childhood, and after-school joy. The ice cream truck anthem. You heard it before you saw it. The jingle. The legends of the freezer aisle grocery store freezers became treasure chests for sweet-toothed kids of the 80s, character bars and cartoon treats. The 80s were a time of branded ice cream mania. The 80s were a time of branded ice cream mania. In the 1980s, a scoop wasn't just a snack, it was a memory in the making. Ice cream wasn't artisanal, it was fun, wild, colorful, and full of characters, just like the decade that loved it. In the 1980s, television wasn't just about shows, it was about the ads. Bold, catchy, often over-the-top commercials became entertainment in their own right, with slogans, mascots, and jingles that embedded themselves into pop culture and our memories forever. The golden age of the jingle commercials in the 80s were musical moments, with earworm jingles that made products unforgettable. Some became so iconic they outlived the products themselves, selling to kids big time. The 1980s saw a massive shift toward marketing directly to children, especially on Saturday mornings. Thanks to deregulation in 1984, toy makers could essentially turn cartoons into commercials, and vice versa. Cereal commercials, complete with cartoon mascots, turned breakfast into a branding war. Brand mascots that became celebrities. In the 1980s, mascots weren't just marketing tools, they were icons. Chester Cheetah, sly, smooth-talking Cheetos mascot. These mascots had their own lore, voice actors, and sometimes even TV specials. Selling the American Dream commercials in the 80s sold more than just products, they sold lifestyle and aspiration. Clean-cut families, futuristic kitchens, and happy kids were everywhere. Commercial break, equal sign, cultural time capsule. The commercial break became a mini variety show, from perfume ads shot like music videos, to high-concept Nike commercials that blurred the line between film and promotion. It was a time of big hair, neon colors, voiceovers with dramatic gravitas, and kids begging their parents for whatever they just saw. Legacy, when selling became storytelling. The 1980s redefined advertising. It wasn't just about buying a product. It was about joining a moment, a character, a club, a dream. Commercials of the decade weren't just persuasive, they were cultural events, shaping childhoods, family habits, and brand loyalty that would last decades. In the 80s, commercials didn't just sell, they entertained, enchanted, and endured. Blockbuster and Hollywood video rewinding to the golden age of home entertainment. Before streaming, before downloads, before everything was a click away, there was a ritual. A Friday night, a family pile into the car, neon lights, rows of movie covers, the smell of popcorn, plastic cases, and possibility. In the 1980s, home entertainment had a name, Blockbuster. Blockbuster Video, the movie mecca. Founded in 1985 in Dallas, Texas, Blockbuster Video quickly became the king of the video rental revolution. With its blue and yellow branding, wall-to-wall VHS tapes, and friendly neighborhood feel, Blockbuster turned a casual movie night into a weekly tradition. And by the end of the decade, Blockbuster had expanded nationwide, putting mom-and-pop video stores on notice and bringing Hollywood right into America's living rooms. Hollywood Video, the challenger rises. While Blockbuster dominated the late 80s, a new competitor would soon emerge. Hollywood Video, which launched in 1988. It offered an edgier, often more genre-diverse collection, more cult classics, foreign films, and B-titles for the die-hard movie lovers. Together, these two giants created a home entertainment battleground where the war wasn't fought on screens, but on shelves. This was the golden age of video, when movies came in clamshell cases, when you judged a film by its cover, and when the most exciting place in town was the video store. By the 1980s, hip-hop began blasting from boomboxes, car stereos, and record stores nationwide. Influential artists. Hip-hop created an unmistakable style, reflecting pride, defiance, and community. Fashion wasn't just trendy, it was a form of self-expression, rebellion, and authenticity. Hip-hop exploded on screen in the 80s and early 90s. Urban hip-hop wasn't just a sound, it was survival, it was style, it was struggle and swagger in perfect sync. What began in the boroughs rewrote the global beat, one rhyme, one rhythm, and one revolution at a time. The 1980s, a decade of neon dreams, boombox beats, big hair, bigger personalities, and a cultural explosion that redefined how we lived, played, dressed, and danced. From Saturday morning cartoons to cassette mixtapes, from Walkmans to arcades, from breakdancing on cardboard to blockbuster nights, the 80s weren't just a moment, they were a movement. It was loud, it was weird, it was bold, and we loved every second of it. But just as the Rubik's Cube slowed and VHS tapes wore thin, a new sound started to rise, a new style, a new energy. The toys that stayed with us. From the shelves of KB Toys and Toys R Us to the aisles of Sears holiday catalogs, the toys of the 1980s weren't just things we played with, they were childhood companions, Saturday morning extensions, and icons of identity. The toys of the 80s weren't perfect, they squeaked, broke, got lost behind the couch, but they were ours. They made us laugh, they brought us together, and in their own way, they made us believe. And maybe, just maybe, they're still doing that. In attics, in closets, and in our memories. Because the best toys never really disappear. They just wait to be remembered. You've just lived the magic of the 80s. But stay tuned, because up next, we dive headfirst into the decade where everything changed. Welcome to I Love the 90s.